Adam Silver, the league destroying clown. Those aren't my words, they're the words of this video producer. Well, I do agree. Maybe not the clown part. I'm not sure he's a clown. I just think he's in a very difficult situation. Because at the end of the day, I don't know how to put this. Can we just say what this is about? The fact of the matter is, this man is a white man. He's a white man running a league of over 70% of black people. And we all know that the US has a race problem. They have a race problem. Everything just always goes back to race. At least from the outside looking in, from what I see on the internet, from what I see on the news in the US, everything always ends up in race. So you have a situation where white people that want to try to look like they are the good ones overcompensate and sometimes look like idiots, to be honest with you. Sometimes they look like fucking idiots, trying to overcompensate with the fact that I'm one of the good ones. You know, all these racist white people that in the US, I'm one of those good guys. So, whatever. The point of the matter is, if this man becomes too strict, you start hearing things like, oh, is this some kind of a slave camp? Is this a cotton field? Is this? So this man has to find a way to, which was part of his plan. When he first came up, he said he wants to make the league like favorable to players. But unfortunately, these players are 20-something-year-old multi-millionaires. There has to be some rules. You can't just allow them to run amok. You just can't allow that. You just can't allow that. David Stern, a lot of people used to call David Stern a racist. Some of them used to call him whatever they used to call him, whatever that time they used to call him. But at the end of the day, without David Stern, the NBA will not be where it is, where players get to earn $50 million a year. It will not be in this position. And I'm not trying to say that these NBA players are children. That's not what I'm trying to say. But at the end of the day, these are 20-something-year-old multi-millionaires. If you don't put some rules down, if you don't put your foot down, they're going to run amok. And I don't blame them. If I was a 20-something-year-old multi-millionaire, I don't know what I would do. I really don't know. I can't sit down here and claim like I would have been, doing everything the right way. No, I don't think so. If at the age of 22, I was already earning $10 million a year, dude, do you know what I would be doing? Who knows how many women I would have gotten pregnant? Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is, I don't really blame these guys. They're young men. I understand. But the point is, if you are in the place of authority, you are supposed to put the rules down. That's what your job is. But unfortunately, Adam Silver is in a situation where he's a white man. He's trying to appease, the minorities. Every time I hear him speak, it's almost like he's trying to evade landmines all the time. Maybe that's not the case, but I'm just going by what I see when I see him speak. So it's almost like he doesn't want to be labeled a racist, which is probably like the worst label a white man could get in the United States, being called a racist. So they're so afraid of it to a point that this man doesn't want to put any discipline down, put any foot down, because if he does that, he's going to be called a racist. That's just a fact. We all know that. I know people are going to come out in this comment section and tell me that is not the case. But that is the case. Everything in the US is about race. If this white man starts putting his foot down to a point where it starts affecting some of these black players, there's going to be some racism talk. There's definitely going to be some racism talk. So anyway, let me watch this video. I love this guy. This guy is probably not going to beat around the bush. Adam Silver, a league destroying clown. Let's get right into it.
Well, the NBA is set to resume the regular season for the stretch run into the playoffs on the heels of the dreadful floating dumpster fire that was All-Star Weekend. An absolutely abysmal weekend, which highlighted just how far the NBA product as a whole has fallen. with a total of 397 points scored between the East and West in a game that featured less defense and general competition than layup lines. And this entire era of player is to blame. A pampered, pathetic crop of social media stars who can't be bothered to exude even a modicum of effort these days for anything but clicks or cash in a constant race to build their individual brands and bank accounts. What I'm saying is the problems plaguing the NBA are generational to some degree, but the bums helming the league offices who have empowered these loser players are also culpable, and no individual figure more so than the lead clown of this circus, Commissioner Adam Silver. And Silver graduated from the University of Chicago Law School with a JD degree in 1988 and joined the NBA in 1992, where he held a variety of positions before ultimately becoming the COO and Deputy Commissioner in 2006. It would be when David Stern retired in 2014 that Silver would assume the role of league destroyer, presiding over a meteoric collapse of the league, which continues to meet new and never before seen low points under his watch. And sure, this isn't all his fault, as the league offices have been on a never-ending crusade since the mid-90s to enhance scoring and minimize defensive efforts. As the decade of play from 1995 to 2005...
Players of today will probably be crying if they were to go through that. Seriously, they'll probably be crying. Look at that. Look at that defense.
Had league-wide scoring averages of just 95.7 points per game. An era highlighted by gritty-ass competitors. A league whose best players, by and large, were also elite, league best level defenders.
I mean, like, for example, now you look at people like Luka Doncic. I like him. I do like him. But the fact that people are actually saying that this guy could be top 10 all time. How will a guy that is not even a two-way player be top 10 all time? That is ridiculous. Like, I don't understand. A guy like that shouldn't even be considered to be top 10 all time. He shouldn't even be considered. Players in the past used to be elite defenders. Great players in the past. Now you just have a bunch of stats padders padding their stats all over the place.
But the league offices thought a wide-open offensive brand of ball was more conducive aesthetically to drawing in more viewers and sponsors, of course. They likely yearned for the previous decade's offensive output of 1985 to 1995, where league averages were 106 per game. But the league went a bit too far in empowering its players' free movement around the court with various rules changes, most notably the removal of hand checking. Scoring for the last 5 years now has reached nearly 113 per game, and even the fraud king himself, for which this era has largely been responsible for massively inflating his hollow stats and building his fake GOAT case, has acknowledged, yeah, there's a problem.
I don't know. I think it's something we need to figure out. I don't know where's the median, because this is what a lot of the games are starting to look like now too.
The admission likely only comes now.
I mean, it comes now because he's going to soon retire. He has been able to benefit from it, pad his stats at his old age. So he's going to soon retire. So why? Well, who cares? He has already benefited from it. So if the next generation, maybe because it's going to get so bad that the league will have to do something. So if they do something very soon, the next generation are not going to be able to benefit from this. So his stats are going to be safe. His statistics are going to be safe. This guy is so smart. If I was not a LeBron hater, I would have loved this guy so much. He's just a very smart guy. He's a very, very smart guy, calculative. Like, if he was a very bad person, he could have been a serial killer, like a psychopath. Like, he's very, 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 very smart. He calculates everything, plans everything. Most of the things that he does doesn't seem random. Everything it seems, even when he tweets, it seems like he planned it out before he even tweets it. He planned everything out.
as LeBron's playing time is nearly finished, and he sees this current, younger crop of players having full careers in this filth as viable threats to surpass everything he is.
If, for example, if this is not controlled, Luka is going to definitely beat LeBron's all-time scoring. Because Luka, the way Luka plays, he's not athletic, so I don't think him getting old is going to really affect him that much, and he doesn't get injured as much. Same thing with LeBron. So Luka will probably beat him if this thing is not controlled. Luka will probably beat him. So LeBron is very smart. I think he's just saying that thing just for saying it. He will soon retire. So he's thinking about it like, okay, this can't happen. We can't let Luka, because LeBron had to go through the 2000s. He had to go through the 2000s where where scoring was very, very low. He had to go through it when he got into the NBA. Luka getting into the NBA now during the Swiss cheese era, and imagine if the Swiss cheese era continues till the end of his career, he would definitely beat LeBron's scoring average. Not just the average, he would definitely beat LeBron's all-time scoring title. Definitely, if Luka continues the way it's continuing, if the league does not change things.
Worked so hard for 21 years of stat padding to create. Meanwhile, LeBron's bestie, Kamish Penishead, has also been getting a little testy as of late, as Silver himself seems to be growing less enthralled with the current product.
And to the Eastern Conference All-Stars, you scored the most points. Well, congratulations.
But this is a product he has been going out of his way to defend, suggesting even that basketball in the 90s and early 2000s was gross to watch.
You know, probably in around the late 90s when the game became too physical. From the aesthetic enjoyment of the game, where it de-emphasized the particular skill a player had.
What's grosser to watch, though, is a bunch of prima donnas making hundreds of millions of dollars these days, jogging up and down the court, making uncontested layups and dunks. But as the saying goes, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. And Silver has been culpable with his idiotic little gimmicky and amateurish additions, like the play-in tournament, which only degraded the importance of the regular season even more. Perhaps, though, he did uncover a tactic this year with his in-season tournament to coerce this current crop of pampered TikTok stars into actually caring about the NBA's regular season. Bribing them, of course. And as those aforementioned salaries continue to swell and reach unimaginable heights amid an era where many of the star players can't be bothered to play even 60-something games, with load management and player empowerment continuing to ramp up, this makes perfect sense. Pay them more. And players on the winning team of that in-season tournament received $500,000 each.
Y'all heard it's $500,000 on the line, so we're going for that.
While the runner-up team each got $200,000, and teams that were eliminated in the semifinals each got $100,000. But there is likely no amount of money that is fixing this product overnight, just like there was no destroying it overnight, as evidenced in 2004 when hand checking was removed, but the era of players that were already in the league during the early to mid 2000s were still going to defend aggressively, despite what rules changes were made. So while scoring would see an immediate and drastic uptick from 93 points to 97 in just one season from 2004 to 2005, league-wide averages would remain in the 90s over the next 10 years that would follow from 2004 to 2013. It wasn't until those players aged out and this current crop of soft losers took over and the destruction of the NBA was complete. Silver's job now is to find a way to reinvigorate the incoming players and infuse them with a fundamentally different outlook on defense and overall effort. But as annoyed as Silver seemed in the aftermath of the garbage weekend we were all just subject to, chances are he lacks the conviction or the desire to do what's
He doesn't have the conviction. He has the desire, but no conviction. Because, like I said when I started the video, he's scared. He can't do it. He just can't do it. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to be called a racist. He just doesn't want to be called a racist. And I don't blame him. If I was a white man in the United States, being called a racist would probably be my biggest fear. So I'll probably also be scared as well. Running a league of over 70-something% of black people. No. No. I'll probably be like, what do you want me to do for you? Do you need any more help? I don't really blame him to an extent. Maybe they have to be a black commissioner. I don't know. I don't know whether a black commissioner would be the solution. I'm not really sure about that. But man. This man isn't going to be able to do anything. Do you see that guy? Does this look like someone that will be able to do anything? Seriously, look at him.
necessary to right this ship. Hence, he should do the next best and most admirable thing possible, like any good captain of any sinking ship, and go down with it.
That's probably what has to happen. I was just looking at the all-time scoring leaders in the NBA, the top 50. If the NBA doesn't change something, in 20 years' time, the top 50 all-time scoring leaders, half of them would probably have played from 2015 upwards. That's what's going to happen. Luka is definitely going to make the top 10 if things happen. Luka is definitely going to make the top 5 if things continue like this. Durant, despite the fact that he missed 2 years, if he didn't miss 2 years, he would have probably been in the top 3 right now. But since he missed 2 years and some other injuries like that, but he will still, due to how the Swiss cheese era is, he's going to be able to score as so many points to a point that he's going to be able to make the top 5 or top 3. Giannis is going to make the top 10. Should I go on and go on? All of this, Booker is going to make the top 20. At some point, the NBA, because and which really annoys me because people bring up the fact that, Kobe had 45% field goal percentage. Fine. I know a lot of people that hate Kobe bring up that particular statistics. But if you compare the statistics when Kobe played, compare the shooting percentage when Kobe played, look at Iverson's shooting percentage. Look at T-Mac's shooting percentage. Look at all those guys' shooting percentages. Look at all of them. Those guys that played during that era. Outside of centers, which we all know as a center, you take higher percentage shots. That's just the fact. You can't be comparing Tim Duncan with Kobe when it comes to shooting percentage. It's ridiculous. Except you don't understand basketball. I am in Africa. That means I understand basketball more than you. And you're in the US. People comparing shooting percentages during this era, comparing with people that played in the early 2000s. Are you... It's just I don't really understand. Sometimes when I see some of these comments online, I just look at it and just scroll past. Because these people probably have to be really, really dumb. Seriously. Either you have to be really, really dumb, or you're just so young that you don't know better, which is understandable. If you don't know better, I understand. And this comes back to the point where I was making in one of my other videos when it came to WNBA. I think the WNBA has a chance here. The NBA is trash. Currently, the NBA is absolutely trash. I can't even watch highlights. It's really before, at some point, I could watch games. Then at some point, I couldn't watch games anymore. Highlights were fine. Now, I can't even watch highlights. I only look at the box score, maybe look at some of the better highlights. But I can't even watch highlights because the highlights are crap. And when I have to watch more videos of, maybe I would do a reaction on this channel. I watched some highlights of Caitlin Clark, I think a 3 minutes highlights. This lady is electric. She's absolutely electric. Me watching it and looking at it in my head, this is a woman playing like this. It actually made me more interested to see what she could do. And I'm not going to lie to you, in the last 10 years, I have not been so excited in watching someone play in the last 10 years. And I know I'm an African person who follows the NBA, who follows basketball. I don't really matter, which is fine. My opinions don't really matter. I understand that. But the WNBA has a chance here. They have a chance here. People keep talking about how, WNBA players have to dunk. They don't have to dunk. They are not men. You shouldn't expect them to be dunking. And if you say they should bring down the rim, that is really unfair. Because these ladies have trained to shoot with a particular height of the rim. You can't expect the rim to come down. They'll be missing shots. They will start missing shots. Can't expect them to be shooting in the same accuracy when you change the distance or the height of the rim. You just can't expect it. So I do agree with some of them that, when people suggest bringing down the rim, I do agree with that. Some of them looking at these guys that suggest this, like, are you crazy? Shaq made that comment with Candace Parker, and she was like, man, you don't understand, which I agree with her. Shaq barely shot threes. He was a bully down in the post, bullying people, dunking all over the place. But the fact of the matter is, the rim should not come down, because the ladies that can shoot is going to affect them. So at the end of the day, the NBA is already a shooting league. These days, the NBA is a shooting contest. It's a shooting contest. So the WNBA just have to lean into shooting. Lean into it. They already have a great shooter in the lady that have competed with Steph. They have Caitlin Clark here, who is a great shooter as well. Lean into it. Lean into it. You're never going to be able to compete with men when it comes to athleticism. You just can't be able to do that. Unfortunately, naturally, you just can't do that. Lean into shooting. That is where you can compete with men. Lean into shooting. And since most of the NBA is basically a bunch of shooting contests now, what is the difference, really? Seriously. The NBA is so fucking boring now. Like, I can't even watch it. I might as well watch a bunch of women shooting instead of watching a bunch of men shooting. Seriously. Watching Caitlin Clark is way more interesting to me than watching these NBA players. That is just how I feel currently. You may not like it, that's just the fact of the matter.